Greetings. This is Brandon E., your Pharm.D, and welcome to my YouTube channel. You know, when I first graduated pharmacy school, everybody, and I mean everybody, asked me the same question. My friends, my family, even my bosses. When you get your first paycheck, what are you going to do with it? And I probably started getting this question probably a couple months before I graduated, when I graduated, and then up until me getting the first paycheck. And when people would ask me this, I generally wouldn't give them a specific answer. I would generally say things like, well, I'm not sure, I may do this or I may do that, but I never really gave them anything specific. But when I did get my first paycheck, there are 4 things I did with it. The first thing I did was I realized that me graduating pharmacy school and becoming a pharmacist, it wasn't my own doing. It took a level of intelligence. It took a level of determination, hard work, perseverance. It took support from family members. It took support from other pharmacy students that were inside pharmacy school with me. It took support from friends outside of pharmacy school. There was a recipe for success, and I was given this recipe by my Heavenly Father God. So the first thing I did was I gave 10% to my local church as a way to give back to God for giving me so much. The second thing I did was, like most college students, I had student loans. And during my last year of pharmacy school, I had to do a lot of traveling from one rotation to another rotation. So I had a car and I got in an accident, so I had to get a new car. So I had not a lot, but I had a small car payment. So I had a car payment and student loans. So the second thing I did was I portioned some of my money toward my student loans and some miscellaneous bills. The third thing I did was, and before I say this, I just want to say I was blessed in my first job. I had signed a contract and I had a year's contract and my salary was guaranteed for a year. So that means no matter what happened, I was guaranteed a paycheck based on a 40-hour work week for 1 year. And let's say, for example, 1 week, they only had 30 hours for me. I would still get paid for 40. Let's say another week, they only had 20 hours for me. I would still get paid for 40. And let's say another week, they didn't have any available hours. I would still get paid for 40. Now that never happened, but it was just good knowing that my salary was guaranteed. But even with this, I knew that I didn't want to have my faith in a company. I knew that jobs come and go and you never know what could happen in today's day and time. So third thing I did was I saved some. I put some away as like a rainy day fund or an emergency fund. Now, the last thing I did with my paycheck is, and this is the part you probably really want to hear, is that I spent some. And this is the fun part. And like many of you out there, you probably have a favorite restaurant. And when I was a little kid growing up, I had this one favorite restaurant and I would go there periodically, mainly on like special occasions, like a birthday or like a special event. And when I was in college and pharmacy school, I rarely went because I didn't have a lot of extra money. And that restaurant was Red Lobster. So one day after I got my first paycheck, I went there at lunchtime by myself and I ordered a nice, big, expensive meal. I got me some crab legs. I got me a big, juicy lobster. I dipped it in that butter sauce. And man, I was in heaven. And the second thing I spent my paycheck on was, I'm an avid basketball fan, and back then when I first graduated, I played a lot more than I do now. I wish I could play more, but you know, with work and other things, time gets eaten up pretty quickly. But I love basketball. I had a lot of favorite basketball players, and there was this one player, and his shoes were highly coveted back then, and they're still highly coveted now. And that player is Michael Jordan, and the shoes were the Jordans. They were the retro 11s in black and red. And this was my first time buying a new pair of Jordans, and I enjoyed the experience. So these are the 4 things that I spent my first paycheck on as a pharmacist. And after I spent my money on these things, I learned a lot. I love buying the Jordans and I love going to Red Lobster, but with the Jordans, I rarely wore them. I think I wore them like 3 or 4 times and they mainly just sat in my closet. And after about a year and a half, I ended up selling them. Going to Red Lobster was cool, but after 20, 30 minutes, the high of going there went away. What I got more fulfillment out of was saving and paying off debt and being responsible. So I want to encourage everybody else out there to be responsible with your money. If you're graduating pharmacy school or medical school or college in general, you're getting a new job and you start making some money, don't just go to the club and make it rain. Or if you have a business and you're starting to turn a profit or you get a promotion, don't just go out and buy the new car or go on the big vacation. Invest in yourself, invest in your future, and think about the future. What you're doing now could affect you 5, 10, 15 years from now. So save, give, and you can spend some, but take care of the other things first before you spend. So if you like this video, let me know in the comments. And if you liked it a lot, I can make another video what I did with my second paycheck as a pharmacist. And if you want to improve your health physically and financially, subscribe to the channel. This is Brandon E, your Pharm.D. Remember to drink water. I hope this helps.